Raj?
Well, now he's embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Go ahead. Go to mommy. Welcome to Overdrive AF, the official podcast of Overdrive Fitness. My name is Teddy Gurzon, and I'm joined by Gina Marie Gurzon.
What's up, everybody?
As always, special teams coordinator, Destroyer, and Titan and Brajol are here. This is our third take at attempting this podcast because they couldn't decide where they wanted to sit, let alone if they wanted to keep the wiring intact or not. So,
Yeah.
It may look like a hurricane came through here, but we're good now.
Yeah. I think that's a testament to me getting better at my job, that the mics are more stable than they used to be.
Absolutely.
And Braj can no longer just knock them completely off the table.
I think that statement deserves to be followed up with a little 2 chest pounds and then push it down to the ground.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here we are, beautiful Saturday in New York. What was
This
it?
is beautiful.
It's 72 right now.
This feels like spring, summer.
The only thing I don't like is that my allergies are acting up.
Yeah,
But
I feel a
besides
little
that,
congested myself.
I will I'll sacrifice my feelings for this beautiful weather. Fuck your feelings. So yeah, the Olympics are underway. Still haven't been able to watch any of it because I can't find it. But I saw some BMX racing.
It was pretty crazy, yeah.
There was a doubles badminton match I saw a little bit of.
Oh, I'm upset. I missed that.
It was Wang and Wang versus Wang and Wang. Or maybe it's Huang because it was with an H.
Where were they from?
I think China and Chinese Taipei.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So there was that. That was interesting. Table tennis I've seen. But like everything I really want to watch, I feel like they never show live. Or they don't show enough footage of it. Like the track and field events. Or wrestling. Like, let's be real. Baseball is not an Olympic sport. Like, you want to have a reason to compete for your country, fine. We have the World Baseball Classic, but like, come on, guys. What are we doing? What are we doing here? You know what I've really enjoyed is the women's 3-on-3 basketball.
I've heard that's good. I haven't actually been able to catch
It's
any of it.
very high paced. Since it's only 3-on-3 and it's a half court game, like you can really see their individual skills. The fact that the American women, like, they haven't really played with each other and the chemistry is there, I'm just like, all right, so
That says a lot.
it also says a lot of their basketball IQ.
Yeah.
Super high. Kelsey Plum's killing it. Love watching her. Lefty with a cannon for an arm. Remember that video where she threw the t-shirt like 3 decks up in the fucking Spurs game? I was like, what? So, 3-on-3 basketball has been dope, especially because it's not like watching NBA where like every 10 seconds someone's flopping and crying to the refs for a call.
Did you hear about that? That the reason that a lot of the men's basketball players were like not doing as well is because they're so used to like foul hunting, and that's not how like the international game was called.
Yeah, they let them play.
Yeah.
And they play kind of rough.
Yeah. So they were having like they needed to like the time to adjust.
Basketball is rough. It can be. I mean, when you play it, right?
In the 70s, they used to throw fists every game. I mean, even Larry Bird got down and dirty.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love watching the Knicks in the 90s, though. Talk about fucking rough. You're like, you want to score? You score from over there. In this area right here, you ain't scoring unless you want to leave bloody.
Latrell Sprewell type shit.
So, I mean, have you, from the little bit of the Olympics you've seen, have you enjoyed it?
I feel like it used to be so much more than it is now. I don't know. I feel like,
There's no allure.
yeah. I don't.
How about you? Have you seen any of it?
Not really. I have not been able to tune in. I don't think like the streaming services I have really like allow me to see much. I did catch some of the gymnastics like a few nights ago, but that was just kind of like luck.
Look, it kind of sucks that like we know the outcome of everything by the time they broadcast it.
Yeah.
And it's like broadcast like 2 days later. I'm like, why? Like, how much
anticipation, they don't
editing
let
did
you-
it need? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
I remember really looking forward to, getting ready to watch gymnastics or track or whatever it was that was coming up, not,
Yeah.
finding.
Pretty disappointed that the U.S. lost in Olympic skateboarding.
Yeah, come on, bro.
That's tough.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna happen in baseball too.
Yeah.
It's America's pastime, but we suck at it.
Oh, God.
But one thing I will say that I got a kick out of was the Filipino woman, 55 kilogram. I think she competed at 55 kilos, weightlifter, and she won the first ever gold medal for the Philippines in the Olympics, like first ever. And she got rewarded big time. She got like 450 grand or some shit like that, and the government bought her a house. So like, if I read correctly, and she came up in shit. So like, this is a very big deal to her. It'd be a big deal to anybody, So, congrats to her. But what made it extra dope was that she won the first ever gold medal in Japan. What's up, Tokyo? World War II, never forget.
And what was the first thing that they asked her when she won?
What are you gonna do to celebrate? She's like, I'm gonna eat a lot.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when if you're focused on staying within your weight class, and some people diet down, some people work down towards that weight class to see how well they can score. If she was representing a certain weight class, maybe she was not normally that weight class,
She's come a long way. So it's like, this is her fourth Olympics, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow.
So the first one, she didn't even finish. Like, she bombed out.
Oh.
Really, right? She qualified for the Olympics, but then she like bombed out. Her second Olympics, she finished second at last, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Third one was Rio. She got silver. And then this year, it all just came together.
Wow.
So, that's pretty dope too. Like, when you know it, like, she was setting up for the jerk, and she already knew by the time it flew off her shoulders, before she even locked it out, she already started crying, because she's like, I'm getting this. Like,
That's
I just
awesome.
won the fucking gold. So, that's great, That Filipino diving team, though, that's exciting to watch. Have you seen that?
No.
They're so bad. Yeah, a couple Olympics ago, they were so embarrassing. It was like everyone was making fun of them. I think the Philippines are making fun of them. They're like, how did we put this team out there?
Well, doesn't every country have the opportunity to bring a team from, as long as they can afford to get them there?
I think so.
Is that what, or they have to raise money to get there, or?
Yeah, regardless,
And you
it
have
does
to
cost
say-
money to send them there. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to say, in what type of environment do they have to train?
Well, they're surrounded by water, so you would think they're good in the water.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, like, we also know that I suck at swimming. I'm an excellent drowner.
Yeah, no,
Like
let's
one of
not
the
relive
best.
that ever again. That's not, no.
But
Yeah, no more jumping off cliffs for Teddy and trying to swim back to shore. Okay, that's not. Yeah, I'm not.
I'm here to
I mean,
talk
I know
about
we're
it, though.
CPR certified, but I'm not a lifeguard. So.
Wait, you know CPR?
We went to take the class. We've been taking the class together. Hello.
So that's why you take my breath away.
Oh, here we go.
Boom! Yes! Walked right into that one.
You're ridiculous. So old.
I'll never stop.
Eh.
So, what was your week last week? I know we got to see you come in for 2 workouts.
Yeah.
You got your bench and your deadlift in.
Yeah, finally back in the gym. Which
That's
is
what's up.
good. super
Iron
sore.
therapy.
Yeah,
Still.
nice.
I benched on Monday and my shoulders are still sore.
Yeah.
I was walking away from the gym to my car yesterday after deadlifting and was just like, oh no. And my legs are just gone.
You're like, so this is what it feels like
Yeah.
again.
Because I think if I have it right, I don't think I've like properly deadlifted in like 5 years, like since I was like a senior in high school.
Yeah.
So it was. I still remembered the form and everything.
There you go. It's like riding a bike.
Yeah, my legs were not accustomed to that.
They're like, nah, bro.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
Pump the brakes.
So, but it was good to get back in. I'm excited to keep at that. And
Awesome.
I still got 15 miles in.
Solid.
days
That's
in
great.
between.
Yeah.
Might do something today just because it's so.
You got to get
nice
that
out.
long
Yeah.
run in now.
As well.
Put some tunes.
Yeah. Not bad.
Question is it going to be shirtless? It's 72 degrees out.
Yeah, it's not quite hot enough to warrant that. There
No.
was one the other day when it was like 92 with like 65% humidity.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
That was brutal.
I was like, I need to get this in, but I don't want to be wearing like a soaking wet
Yeah.
shirt.
It'll make you feel heavier.
Yeah.
So that's great. You are on top of your fitness journey for sure.
Yeah. We're working on it.
Faux show. What else is going on? NBA news, Russell Westbrook heading out to LA.
The worst shooting team of all time that might make
Just-
the finals.
So someone I think the Lakers posted their like projected starting five. And they're like and the caption was like, who's gonna stop this team? And someone responded, the 3-point line.
The rims.
Oh, that's gonna be an interesting team to watch.
Yeah.
When they're good, they're gonna be really good. When they're bad, they're gonna be like
Yeah.
a shit show. 'Cause there's only one basketball on the floor.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's beating the Nets next year. I've got a feeling.
Let's hope they can keep it together and all be healthy.
Yeah. I hope so.
And I thought I heard someone. There's a team out there fighting hard to get Kawhi Leonard. And I was
Yeah.
like, that seems like a reach.
I think the Knicks.
Really?
The Knicks really want him. Well, the Knicks want everybody every year.
Yeah.
So that's not new.
They need to sell tickets.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically that. What else do we need to cover before we get into our topic? I think that is pretty much it for
I
things we
think
had to
so.
cover. Nothing else really exciting going on except for the two new Italians for the Yankees, Rizzo and Gallo. That's pretty dope. So, and Rizzo hit a home run last night in his first Yankee game, so that was awesome. But yeah, what we wanted to talk about today though is that the whole Simone Biles controversy, right? So, long and short, she almost severely hurt herself in competition, and I think it fucked with her head. She said she was going to withdraw. She did withdraw from several events at that time. Then I was pretty sure I read this morning she withdrew from 2 more individual events today or yesterday or something like that. So, people are up in arms about it. Let's put it that way. There's people who are like, we need to support her and her mental health and respect her for that. Then there's other people that are like, she's disrespecting her country and she's not fulfilling her duty to represent America and blah, blah, blah. And I will say this much. Let's preface this with this. Like, I'm very pro-America. I literally piss red, white, and blue. I don't think there is anybody else in this gym that is more like USA on everything than there is me, besides maybe Larry Janetta.
I don't think anyone else in this gym owns American flag Chevrolet.
Yeah, I definitely take the cake with that one. So, like, I absolutely love this country. I'm first gen. My parents both immigrated here from the Philippines as legal immigrants. And then, I'm just very pro America. I love our freedom. I love everything about our country, our perfections and imperfections, right? So Simone Biles, yeah, okay, it's easy to talk shit about it and be like, oh, she's doing the wrong thing. She should have stuck it out. She should have been like Carrie Strug. This and like, it's a totally different person. Carrie Strug's a totally different person. Just respect that, right? Like, think about what you love doing, and then trying to compare yourself to someone else from a different era that was the best at that time, right? So if you love cooking, but like you struggle to boil water, you love cooking though, but you struggle to boil water, like, and everyone's like, you're no Julia Childs. Well, yeah, no shit. You know what I mean? Like, Mario Batali, minus the sexcapades, but
there was
I guess I could have
there's
found
scandals
another
within that too. So
Bobby Flay maybe. But yeah, so long and short, she almost severely hurt herself. It really fucked with her head. If I'm not mistaken, she could have possibly hurt her neck really bad, and she just couldn't do it anymore. She's like, I don't want to do it.
And maybe she did, and just they're not talking about that.
Yeah, and let's not forget what she's been through. She's the last U.S. women's gymnast that is still competing from the Larry Nassar era, the USA Gymnastics team doctor who was sexually abusing all these girls for such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, horrible shit that I just don't even want to repeat on this podcast. But you can only imagine, even though you don't want to, but possibly imagine maybe a tenth of the pain and that they've gone through, mm-hmm. emotionally and physically. So, like, I mean, let's put things into perspective. Most people will cry about rain. They will just say, like, I don't want to go outside today, it's raining. Then you got Simone Biles, who endured all the sexual assault, like, has a hard time staying in hotels by herself because it reminds her of what had happened to her. Competes on a universal level. She's under a microscope because she's the most dominant gymnast of all time. Like, add up all that mental shit, like, something will break at one point. And
I think even some of the best who have dealt, like, obviously there's a lot of past trauma there, and we know that on a psychological level, when the body experiences trauma, mental, emotional, physical, whatever the case, our brain is so good at placing it in certain portions, like certain areas of the brain, and most of the time when we don't deal with it head on, it tends to come back at some point. It could surface, right? And even when we do deal with it, sometimes things, situations, a sound, whatever, can trigger some form of that trauma to come back. Maybe even if it's a smidgen of it. And it just depends on how you deal with it and how you've learned to deal with it. That in itself, the mental side of training, the mental side of performance is huge. Huge. People don't realize just how big that is and how much of an effect that can have on the best of athletes. And at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all living, breathing, energetic beings, I guess, if you want to call it. That sometimes, if we're not at that 100%, it can get to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, however she's dealing with that, and I'm sure they have the best of the best with her right now. So if it's a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a sports psychologist, whatever, anybody who works on different levels with athletes, that they're helping her deal with that. And people will deal with it in their own way.
Bottom line, mind your damn business. like what she's got going on, maybe she doesn't want to disclose to the world, but she just wanted to withdraw because she felt like that was best for her. Keep herself at some sort of peace. Just need to respect that, right? Like she knew where the limit was, where the boundary was, and she was like, no, I'm not crossing it. I'm just not going to do it. I respect that. I respect people knowing where their boundaries are, right? Like knowing like when and when not to push it. Most people have no idea where that is for them. And most people will never be in a position to compete for a gold medal. Like, I'm not even talking about like making the U.S. team in Olympic trials. I'm talking about like you're expected to win the gold medal. Like, until you have that opportunity, just shut the fuck up. Like, you don't know what it's like. I don't know what it's like. I can only imagine. And it goes back to like how they'll heckle like the last man on the bench in a professional sport. It's like that man may never get on like any playing time, but he's probably 1,000 times he is 1,000 times better of an athlete than you ever were. I mean, like Brian Scalabrine. Everyone talking shit about the White Mamba, like they're like, oh, you're a garbage NBA player, and he's like, all right, put your money up. I'll be at the Boston YMCA. We'll play 1-on-1, and whoever can beat me will get all this money. And like,
clown to everybody.
I think he gave up 2 points the entire time. He played like 20 guys.
Yeah.
And a couple names were left out of that, but I heard 2 of them were Syracuse alumni who were actually really good too at Syracuse. Yeah, and I was like, dude, that's why like I love the joke how some people say they're like, what they need to do in the Olympics so that we all understand it more is they need to throw an average Joe out there on like a week's notice. And be like, all right, and for reference of difficulty, like they have the 100 meter, they're going over each person, and they're like, and in lane 8 we have Joe Schmo who has a heart attack when he completes 200 meters. So let's see how he does in the 100 meter today. Like, what these athletes do is remarkable. They're gifted, they're blessed, and they do things that most of us wish we could be able to do. So let's just respect it. It's a game. Don't get your fucking panties in a bunch.
And I think hats off to her too, because she allowed other teammates of hers to really shine.
Yes.
And allowed them to step forward and take her place and really push themselves, put themselves in that position, and put them and really push themselves, like and allow them to work their mental game. I mean, that's what being part of a team is. It's allowing, putting your hand behind that teammate's back and saying like, all right, you got this, and thank you, and being able to step back and to say thank you for doing this for me. That's that you step in for each other when you need to, and that's doing a lot. And that's scary in itself. That in itself is scary, to have to step into that spot.
Like, what about when Charlie Conway sacrificed his spot on the roster at the Junior Goodwill Games in Mighty Ducks 2? All right? We glorified that. Like, no one was like, you quit on your country. Like, no. He wanted to give up his spot so someone else can take his spot, and then they could win the gold medal against Iceland and the dentist.
What about, we were watching that BMX race yesterday.
That was crazy.
I mean, the American that literally in the blink of an eye was in the ICU. Literally in the blink of an eye. And he was aimed to win that race, yes?
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
Well, it was the semifinals, and he was predicted to do very well, at the very least. And
well, he was in the number 1 spot in that semifinal race, wasn't he?
Next thing you know, he's out cold.
He's in the ICU.
He was knocked out cold.
So, like, those same people could say the same thing about him, like, oh, maybe he should have done this, or maybe he should have done that. You saw the race. You don't know what was going on in his mind, how everybody else in that race was reacting, literally happened in a split second. And like Simone with the vault, it's so fast. One micro movement of a movement could have set things off in the wrong direction. And one micro movement could have set things off in the right direction, exactly where she needed to be. So you just don't know.
Everyone's a Monday morning quarterback.
It's kind of like when we're here and we're coaching the class, and all of a sudden it's like, we have one, okay, you should be doing it this way. Do this, do that. I mean, guys, we're all here to learn. Like, so let the coach, learn, listen. Let's do things right. Right?
Yeah, let's not get hurt.
Let's not get hurt.
You're here to get healthy, not hurt.
Exactly. Let's not take cues. Let's not take squat cues from somebody who has 2 torn rotator cuffs from their own stuff outside of here, and pins in their ankles and things like that. So like, all right, let's listen to the coach.
So yeah, I mean, I really don't know what else to say about Simone Biles thing besides like, mind your business, right? And until you're in a position to do something remarkable for your country or in anything you're doing, something that most people will never have a chance to do, then just keep your mouth shut. I mean, enjoy it, watch it. If you disagree with it, guess what? You can move on, keep scrolling. That's a possibility, believe it or not. Like, you can actually just keep moving on with your life. But like, I just don't understand it. Like, how can something like this bother so many people to the pit of their soul? Like, what's going on or what isn't going on in your life that is so shitty that you let this affect you, like, down, like, on an emotional level, like this bad? I don't get it. Why do you value the performance of someone else's shit that you don't even know? You don't even know this person, and you're like, I can't believe they're not American. They're not doing this. Like, shut the fuck up. Shut up. I don't get it. Like, focus on yourself.
Think about how many thousands of miles they had to travel, how many months and years they had to prepare for that moment, these moments, those days, in a different city, in a different country, eating different foods, in a different time zone, being surrounded by cameras and interviews and all of these things. And again, that's all stressful, very, very stressful. And that's part of the mental side, of the psychological side, that preparation. It's not just, we're not machines. We don't just plug in and unplug, fill up and refill. Like, it's just, we don't, it's so much more complex than that. We don't just change out our chip or whatever.
Be nice if we could.
New battery. Hey, trade it in for the newer model.
So yeah, I think I'm pretty taxed out on that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else to add to Simone Biles' controversy?
No, I also just feel like if there were an Olympics that would mess with someone's head, it's probably this one, when they're being like dropped right into a state of emergency in Tokyo with like no crowd and nothing's normal this time.
And that's another thing too, where like the whole atmosphere is, the environment, everything is just different. It's literally curveballs being thrown in constantly.
It's just like, you got to think about like how you do at work on your worst day when you're not feeling it, and add like a million times the pressure in the eyes of everyone in the world.
It's so easy to point a finger, right? It allows all of us to really, take a step back and think, like, because we've all done it. We've all pointed the finger. We've all made judgment. We've all been really fast to, at some point in our lives. And this is definitely, thank you, Titan.
That was close.
I
was like, he's going to knock that cord out.
Definitely a situation where it's like, think about it. You really need to just take a step back and, right?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's all we have on this week's episode of Overdrive AF. Remember, don't forget, as always, you can check out muscleegg.com/overdrive to get 10% off of the best protein supplements out there in the game. And then for an accelerated growth in your health and fitness journey, always check out Prestige Labs. You can go to overdrivefitnessny.com, click on Prestige Labs, and you can get our wholesale discount, or about 40% off, sometimes more, on certain items. So check those two things out. And that's all we have for you this week. So we'll catch you guys in another episode of Overdrive AF.